So our next topic is going to be do while loop. So do while loop is similar to while loop, but it has something different. That is what it evaluates the expression after the code blocks has been executed. And in do while loop, always execute the statement at least once, then it enters the while condition. So useful when you are sure about that one time execution is going to happen for sure, and then after that execution with the condition going to happen. So this is the starting part of the do while loop. Then this code block will be executed at very first, then after that it will enter the condition, whatever the condition we are writing in the while loop. So here syntax is we write do, then inside that parenthesis we give, and after that while loop we write, and that condition get checked and that code blocks repeat itself until unless that condition is fulfilled. So one thing is different than while loop is once the code block will be run at the very first, then it will go. Now we'll go to the VS Code and we'll see how to print all those programs what you did with the while loop and for loop using do while loop, and we'll see that nested do while loop also, how to do that. So let's jump to the VS Code. Now we will see the examples of do while loop. Then again I'll create one file, that is do while.cpp. Here we're going to do the program that print n natural numbers again with the do while loop. Print n natural numbers using do while. Same thing we're going to do, that is we're going to write the header file that we write hash include iostream. Then we're going to write using namespace std, and after this we're going to write the main function. This is the basic template of C++ code. Alright, in this main function we're going to write the whatever the things is. We again going to take input from the user, and that is going to be printed that way, and we'll see the syntax of do while loop. So that is we're going to write int n, that is I'm declaring a variable that is going to take input from the user. So for that I'll write cout statement, and there I'll write enter the number. Alright, this is done. Then I'll give endl statement so that it is goes to the next line, endl. Now I'll initialize that with iterating variable, that is I equals to 1. I initialized it. After that what I have to do is I'll take input from the user. So what I'll write cin, what is the variable we've taken, n. So n, cin n. After that we'll write the syntax of it. So what is the syntax? We write do, and after that we write while, and we give the condition here, and we'll end the statement here. So inside the do, this is the code block that it was showing in the flowchart. So here we have to print whatever we want to. So we want to print right now that iterating variable I, right? And we'll give some space so that it comes in the same line, everything. So this is what we want to print. Now we'll have to update also. Here initialization, this is the initialization we did, this is the code block, and I have to do updation also. So I++, and I'll terminate the statement. Now inside the while loop I have to write a condition. What is the condition that we generally did in the while loop also? I is less than equals to n. This is the condition, and after ending of this all I have to write return statement, return 0. So this is done. I'll save the code, Control S, then I'll run the code, right click and run code. It is asking for the number. Suppose I want to print from 1 we initialize from 1. So 1 to 100 I want to print. So I'll give enter. It is printing from 1 to 100. Again, you can change the initialized value here. You can change to, 40 if you want to print 40 to 50. So what I have to do is I'll save the code. So it will save, Control S save. Then I'll run the code again. And it is asking for the number. I want to print 40 to 50. So that can also be done. So that is 40 to 50. It is printing. Okay, I'll show you one more thing. Clear the code, and here what I'll be writing, suppose I want to print table of 10. So if I want to print table of 10, what I need to do is I need to do what? I into 10. And suppose I want to print table of 10. See how table of 10 is getting printed. So if I hit enter and it says enter the number, tell wherever I want to print. So suppose I'll give 10 here. So I didn't save the code. That's why it is not doing. It is still taking. So I'll save the code and I'll hit enter. Enter the number. So if I hit 10, so it is printing the table of 10. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 67. So what logic I did change? I change here is multiplied by 10. So this kind of manipulations you can do with this code. Now we'll move to the next code, that is we want to print, hello world using do while loop, and that is going to be printed multiple times. So again I'm going to write do while 2.cpp. Same thing we want to do. We're going to write the header file, iostream, then using namespace std, then we'll write the main function that we generally do, int type, it's of int type and main, and inside the main we'll write whatever our code is. Again same thing we're going to do. We're going to declare a variable that is of n, that is we're going to take input from the user, and I'll say in the printing statement that enter the number. All right, and I'll give ender statement also. So going to the next line. So it will go to the next line. All right, now I'll take input from the user, that cin n. So it will take input from the user, that whatever end we want to give according to ourselves. I do initialization also, that is iterating variable. I is the iterating variable, and I'll initialize with 1. This is done. Now I'll write the do while loop. So for the do while loop I'll write do, and inside that cout I'll write, and inside that I'll print hello world multiple times. So hello world, it is going to be printed. Now I can give ender statement here, so it will come to the next line, and I'll do updation of the code also. Okay, this is done. Now I'll write the condition here, that is in while loop. So while, what is the condition? I is less than equals to n, and I have to give semicolon also, that is n, terminating the statement, and I have to write return 0. Okay, this is that condition. So code flow is coming this way. This is going to be first hello world is going to be printed irrespective of this condition. So that we saw in the flowchart also. This is going to be printed first time irrespective of the condition. Then after that, when the while condition goes, then it comes to the, it will check the condition and it will do it. All right. Now I'll save the code and I'll run the code. It is asking for the enter. Suppose I want to print hello world 20 times. I'll write 20 here. So it should print 20 times hello world. This we already know. Now suppose we want to do a nested do while loop. We want to see an example, that is nested do while. What does nested means? Inside this do while, another do while will be there. So for that, we'll write that thing. So I'll clear the code first, this terminal, I'll clear it, and I'll create one more file, nested do while.cpp. So we want to print the nested do while. So how to do it? For that, we'll take header file hash include iostream. All right, this is done using namespace std. This is also done. Now I'll write the main function. Same template we are writing again and again, and in this main function we'll write our code. So what I have to do? I have to do nested do while loop. So we'll not take input from the user right now. We'll only take care about the do while, nested do while. So nested do while means what? We did nested if else. If you guys remember that inside if else we are writing another if else. So for the do while also we can do nested do while also. So for that, what I have to do? I'll write do, and for this do, one while will be there, isn't it? So while I write this one, and some condition will be there, and semicolon, right? So this is the do, and inside this do another do while loop will be there. So for this do, let's write the code statement. What is the code block? So I'm going to print that, suppose cout I am from the outer do while loop. So suppose this is the statement, so that we know that this is from outer do while loop. So I'll give semicolon here. So this is the code block for this one. Now inside this do while I'll write another do while. So that is what nested do while means. I'll give tab here, so it will come here. So I'll write do, and inside this do I'll write cout statement, and I'll give I am from inner do while loop. All right, so this will tell us that this is from inner do while loop. Now I have to give while condition also. While here, suppose I am giving 1 greater than 10, and in this condition, suppose I am giving 2 greater than 10, and I have to terminate the statement here also. So I terminate it, and at the last, what I'll do, I'll write return statement, return 0. I'll hit enter here. Now this condition we have given, you see 1 is greater than 10. Is 1 greater than 10? No. Is 2 greater than 10? No. But in do while we know that this statement is definitely going to print irrespective of the condition, because once it is going to be printed, at least it is going to be printed once. So for this is the outer do while, this is the outer do while, this is the inner do while. This is the code block for outer do while, right? But condition is not true. 2 is greater than 10. But we know this is going to be printed at least once in do while. After that, when condition checks 2 is not greater than 10, then that time it will terminate. Same for the inner do while also. Alright, now I'll save the code, Control S, then I'll run the code. Okay, I run it, and you see I am from outer loop, do while loop, I am from inner do while loop. Both are getting printed. So here I am not using endl, so that's why it is not coming in the next line. If I use endl here, suppose endl here, and I save the code, Control S, and I run the code again. And if I save it, Control S, now if I print it, it will coming in the next line. So this is the end of the do while loop. You see, condition is not true, still it is executing, because we know that it will execute once, at least once. After that, it will terminate. So thank you. This is the end of the demo of do while loop.